Hello everybody, and welcome to Star Citizen. Today we are going to do a little bit of rough mining, a little bit of a guide, a little bit of action. You guys are going to like it. It's not going to go through the very in-depths of everything, but it's going to get you started. So now let's talk about setting up the prospector. Right now we're going to start off on mining on Lyria. On Lyria, I personally run a Lancet mining 1. We're using the prospector, not the mole. Mole's broken in this patch currently. We got a surge module for those pesky rocks that just don't want you to charge them. Torrent 3 for a little bit of extra laser power. We have laser power plus 4%, instability plus 3%. As long as we know how to manage that scroll wheel, instability's not that big of a deal. Focus 3. Resistance, -10. Instability, plus 4%. Again, instability, it's manageable. Now you may be wondering, well, since the screens are broken, where do I get the Lancet Mining Head 1? And I'm going to show you exactly where to get it after this, but just so you know, if you know where it's at, New Babbage and Loreville are the two currently the only places you can get them in this patch since the screens are broke. I put a voyage on the prospector currently for just being able to get across the system specifically for this tutorial. Most of the time I just run the VK00. It's the fastest, can't go very far, but we're doing short jumps. We're going from Arc L1 to Lyria back and forth. Or whenever we do the Air and Halo, which I'll be showing you later as well, we will be heading to the Air and Halo and back. You can change the power plant if you wish. It would help if a rock blew up in your face and you didn't get away quick enough. It wouldn't completely deaden your power plant very fast. It has happened to me before in a mole. Hasn't happened to me in Prospector. But Quadracell, it's a good one. Shield, FR66. Really good shield. Coolers, don't even bother with them. Just leave them alone. Now, if you're wanting to know where to get the other modules from, ignore all the refineries. Can't get them there. Like I said, screens are broken currently. Microtech, New Babbage. Focus 3, same thing, New Babbage. Also, we'll be talking about this later, or you could use them now. It's up to you. FLTRXL. This reduces the amount of inert material when you're collecting it. It does make it a little slower to collect, but it's not a big deal. I definitely run these on moles. So whenever we're asteroid mining, I usually run one of these and 2 Torrent 3s. And if you don't have your mining lasers, I'm going to show you where to get it. We're going to go to New Babbage. We're going to go to Microtech. Double click. And over here, not Fort Tressler. Over here, New Babbage. It sets route. Now that you're at New Babbage, you're probably wondering, where do I land? It's going to be one of these outskirt places. But it looks a lot different than the others. It's harder to see at nighttime. Sees here. They have 3 towers. NBIS Terminal. MT Metro Loop. I want to go down here. Just keep running through all this till you see another elevator system. MT Metro Loop. Through here. We want to go to the Commons. Aspire Guard is the house. On the train. Off the train. We're going to be going this direction. Exit sign. Just keep running. Just keep running. Doesn't matter which staircase. Goes to the same place. Now when you're here and you see the yoga mats and whatnot, we're going to New Babbage Plaza. It's immediately on the left. Shubin Interstellar. And it doesn't have an interior yet that I know of. Yeah, it's locked. It's just one of these 2 screens here. Use that. Go to utility. We're here for mining laser heads. Go down here. And Lancet Mining 1. And if you flew your prospector here, make sure you equip your stuff here before you leave. It's going to go into the local inventory here if you didn't send it to your ship, and you're going to have a bad day. You're going to get all the way back to Arc L1 and realize you have to go all the way back to New Babbage just to get your stuff. If you flew a different ship here, they should fit in your ship. I think even a small ship like a Pisces can fit the Mining Head 1. So you stick them all in there, head to Arc L1, slam them onto your prospector, and you're good to go. Also, before we go mining and start showing you how to do all the fancy stuff, do you want something, sir? The mining gadgets you can put on your backpack, right on the bottom of it. Boom. Now, just for a fair warning, if you rented your prospector, you cannot change these. All right, the prospector itself, the main thing I would suggest looking at is your power triangle up here. I like to favor 6733 when looking for the Quantanium. It gives me a little extra boost. I can boost a lot longer. But when we're mining, I rather this up here to be either 100 or this 67 and thrusters 33. These are your shields and utilities, basically. But if a rock does blow up and it hits us right in the face, you want the most power to your shield to handle that. And we can change those with F6 and F7. So we are gonna blast off over here, go to your F2 menu, double click on ArcCorp, double click on Lyria. We're gonna hit set route. And just so you know, the reason why we're specifically going to Lyria and not putting up a map of saying this is a good moon for Quantanium, this is a good moon for Quantanium, stuff like that. Lyria has a special little property. Don't know if it's a bug, no idea. It hasn't been fixed in a while. If it is a bug, I'm not sure. Lyria has this thing where whenever you're scanning for Quantanium, anything that's more than one rock is a 100% chance to be Quantanium. That's not saying that there's single rocks out there that isn't Quantanium. There is. We just don't care to go look for them. Because might as well just search for the ones that are guaranteed so we don't waste our time. Now there is some spots that seem kind of like hot spots, like the Shubin mining facility might seem really good for Quantanium. Some other places I like to go to minerals reserve sometimes. Every place I've gone to has all had good chances of Quantanium, and sometimes the failures, like buckets, I've had a good rock there once, and then it failed me every single time afterwards. We're mainly just gonna pick a spot, preferably in the daylight, and head that direction. And a good YouTuber probably would have picked a spot that wasn't so bright on the eyeballs. But I'm not a good YouTuber. Right below the clouds is usually where I start my adventure. And since you probably haven't set it up, we are going to look at key bindings. Because my scanner in my zoomy zooms is going to be different than your zoomy zooms. So we hit escape, we go into options, we go to key bindings, and we go down to advanced controls customization. And we want to scroll on down here to flight radar. And we want to change our increase ping angle to left alt and mouse wheel up. Decrease ping angle to left alt plus mouse wheel down. Now on these increased ping angles, we don't want to be confused with being in this menu on accident. Increase scanning angle, mouse wheel up, mouse wheel down. This is something different. Also, while you are in the options, if you haven't done it, not sure why this changed, I'm going to go over here to game settings and scroll down to where you see flight space brake engages boost. It's defaulted to no. Not sure why. Default this back to yes. That means whenever you hold X for your space brake, your ship will actually stop. Now let's go ahead and start here. We're going to be looking around. We're going to hold Alt. We're going to scroll our wheel and make sure we're at 360. You see that number changing right there. And we are going to let go of Alt and scroll wheel, of course, and hit Tab. You see all these boxes. And we can look at any of these boxes. Hold Alt, scroll wheel in to a ping angle of 0.2, and we are going to ping again and hit Tab. Anything under 12.1 kilometers we can see. And now you can see that diamond there. It's just one. We don't want that. Well, we're going to turn over. Look at this one. We're going to scroll out if our pings expire back to 360. We're just going to hit Tab again. We're going to rinse and repeat. Once you checked all the rocks in your first area here, you want to pick a heading. You see the heading up here up at the top. I'm going to stay pretty high on elevation and zoom back out and go to 179 instead because we're going forward. We don't care what's behind us now. I'm gonna set this around like 300 or so on my speed. I picked up some new ones. So as we're going, we're just gonna let go of throttle. We're just gonna turn sideways. Zoom in and ping those. Zoom back out, 179, and continue heading east. And here we go. We have some that showed up too, and they are close together. We are going to floor to that direction. And we are going to hit M for our mining mode. And over there on the right side, you can see that is a quantanium deposit of a mass of 7,628. Only has 2% of quantanium in it. And we have another one at a mass of 3,980 and another little 2%. I normally don't grab them unless they're like 20% or higher, or there's just a massive cluster of them. I don't bother with 2%. But for this video, we'll see if we can crack this 7,600 right here. Now, just to kind of give you a little rundown on what's going on here on your screen. Top left, where it says mining laser, it tells you your mining laser range, your current range, and your effective range. If you're in just sufficient, you're not going to be giving it all the gumption. You need to get a little closer. Then we have our mining modules. Our surge module is currently offline. We use those modules with Alt in 1. And if we had other modules in 2 and 3 that weren't passive modules, those are always online. We would use Alt 2 and 3. Now, just to the right of that, we have our laser intensity. This goes up and down with your scroll wheel. That's what we're going to be charging the rock with. And on the right side, we have the overcharge for the rock. That's the zone we don't want to be in. And then we have the optimal right below it. That is the zone we want to be in. And then the charge level below that, that's the sadness zone. That's the zone that's going to be hard to get up into the optimum sometimes. And it makes us sad. And now just to the right of that, we have our scan results. That's as we're looking at the rock. As we said, it's a quantanium deposit with a mass of 7,628. We have our instability. That's the instability of the rock. Then we have our resistance, 0.30. Lower is better. So let's see if we can mine this thing. It is really low quantanium, so we'll probably have less effort mining it. You can put a mining gadget on this and make the resistance even lower. You can get it all the way down to 0. You just got to watch for your negatives. And if you want to move your mining laser around without moving your ship around, you can tap G and tap G again. And that puts it where you're just moving your laser. You can tap right shift to lock your ship in place. Now, as you can see, we are not budging that charge level whatsoever. So this is where surge comes into play. Surge says overcharge rate plus 100%, shatter damage plus 200%. We don't want that thing to get into the red, blow up. But when we hit surge, it's going to jump our charge level in a good zone. This is something just you have to kind of get used to. It's a lot of trial and error. Alt 1. You can see we jumped up there, but we're not in the optimum. This is a big rock, and if it had a lot of quantanium in it, we'd be sweating and crying right now. Like, man, this is going to be a tough one. So we're going to let this drop down, and then we're going to hit that surge one more again. And if you overshoot, don't panic. Don't turn your laser off. Just back up a little bit if you need to. Turning our laser off will actually drop that optimum window and make it worse. So once it gets down a little bit more, we're going to Alt 1 again. Looks like I should have hit it a little earlier, but we might be able to get it. This is where we can kind of keep a little bit of heat on the truck. No, we're dropping out. No big deal, it happens. We got a pretty big optimum window because we only have 2% quantanium, so we're gonna smack that again. And a lot of people pair this with mining gadgets that increase the optimum window charge, like we talked about earlier. So if you would have stuck one of those on here, we would have already had this rock broken. The optimum window would have fully charged. And there's another non-passive mining module like Surge you can activate that also does the same thing. And there we go. The rock is busted. And basically the same step we took at the beginning. We want to scan all these rocks here. So here we have a little bit more quantanium. This is in a different break. So we are going to break this one as well. Here we are. Oh yes, top notch. High five. And now they're broken into a bunch of extra little pieces. So on these ones, you're going to right click and you have extraction mode. Ideally, you want to pick the one that has just a quantanium in it. There's a chunk of it, a tiny little chunk of it. So we want to left click while we're in extraction mode to pull that into our ship. And now as you see on the far right side, cargo's popped up. And now we have 3.52 out of 32 SUs in the prospector. We have a little bit of poo-poo quartz, a little bit of barrel, and a little bit of quantanium, very tiny amount. Doesn't matter the amount, regardless if you're 100% quantanium or just that much quantanium. It's going to be volatile cargo. And there's a little thing up there right above scan results. This dude right here. Aha! That thing is going to start flashing at you and you're going to be like sweating bullets trying to get into the station if it starts blinking red. It starts blinking red, you have a problem. Now if you get to that point, you don't want to get your ship just blown up because then you got to change all your passive modules again and it gets expensive doing that. So you want to jettison your cargo. Now, so I don't tell you wrong, I'm pretty sure it's Alt J. But let's make sure. It is. So now let's pretend we just have bukus of quantanium in this ship and we're super happy, ready for a payday. Now we want to leave. So we fly up to atmosphere. Hit RF2. Double click ArcL1. And set our route to the station. And as you're flying to this station, your pads are going to be right here. And sometimes there is a bug. Whenever you land, you'll get there, get down in there, and it'll be like, oh, claim your ship. You can't store it for some reason. Well, how come? I don't know. It's a bug. So you're going to come back up here and you're going to try and re-land your ship. You're going to go back down there and going to try and store it again. And it might not store, it might store. Most of the time it allows you to. But if you have that bug, what you can do is not land at your own landing pad. Land on someone else's pad. Now you're going to get fined, but being fined 5,000 is a lot better than possibly losing 300K in cargo. And if you're going to get a parking ticket anyways, you might as well just take the express route back. Stay in the ship. It'll teleport you. And we're going to run on over here, go to the elevator, go in here and hit Refinery. It's a long travel. If you didn't do the parking ticket route, make sure your ship is stored before you take this route all the way down to the refinery, because it's not going to show up, and then you're really going to be sweating bullets trying to get back to store that ship. Or you're going to hear a boom outside. Don't want a boom boom on a station. And once you get here, you want to floor it. We're going to run down this ramp or jump. Break your legs a little bit. It's fine. Run up a staircase. We're going to hit begin. Go over here, prospector. Set up work order. Now there's a bunch of methods you can pick here. I personally use Ferron Exchange the most. Hit get quote. Ferron Exchange is a lower speed, moderate cost, high yield. Whenever you have like a full 32 SUs of quantanium, it's not going to be 37 minutes. It's going to be around, I think, 16 hours or so. If you want it to be faster, the one I pick is I call it electrolysis. I know that's not how that word is said. This is going to be a moderate speed, moderate cost, and moderate yield. And once you pick your choice here, I'm just going to hit confirm. And everything else that you didn't select, you see how we checked the quantanium? All that's going to be gone. It's only going to do your quantanium up here. So as you see, it says to do 16. For some reason, it's more than our yield, but it's fine. And you can stop and collect this at any time, but let's pretend this time is done. It's over with. you're going to go down here and select storage option. If I had a ship here, and for the sake of actually showing you. Also, if you don't have a ship to haul stuff with and you only have a prospector, we're going to run over here to this renting screen. We're going to grab a Drake Cutlass Black for 1 day. Back to our screen, select location. I got ripped off. Apparently, when you rent a Cutlass Black here, they're like, oh, we don't want to put it at the station that you rented it from. That would be weird. All right. Our Drake Cutlass Black is at Area 18. That's where I would want my rented ship if I rented one from a place for a premium price. All right. Now that we're done being absolutely ripped off, we back away from the screen and we run over here and we floor it. All right. We are here again. We are selecting storage option, Drake Cutlass Black, and we are going to collect. As we said, we're pretending this timer's not here, and we're not being dumb. We got a full cargo load here. It's amazing. Oh, we've made so much money just now.
Imagination.
Now that is in our Cutlass Black. All right, now you've seen how to mine on Lyria. Now it's time to mine in the Air and Halo. If you do wish to mine in the Air and Halo, that is. If not, you can just skip the rest of this because the next part's just some delivery thing I did to show you how to do the refinery, stuff like that. Yeah, you can just get the Air and Halo. It's fine. But the people who want to be here for the Air and Halo, this is how you do it. This is how I set up my prospector for the Air and Halo. Go to utility. We're not using this setup. We don't need to. Air and Halo asteroids don't get big enough to need that. So we're just going to grab this. We go down, we're still using this. Torrent 3 module. Torrent 3, again. The Air and Halo is this lovely, now invisible band. It usually shows right here. There's an asteroid band that goes around through here somewhere. And we're going to jump into it. And for anyone who doesn't want to use the Air and Halo, but they also don't want to use Lyria, they just want to mine in space without having to just drop into somewhere. They want to just go to a place. Mine Quantanium. Easy peasy. Hurl 3. There's a lot of other places you can mine Quantanium, but this place I've had really, really good luck at. You go here, you scan around. Same thing that we're going to be doing in the Air and Halo, so instead of going there and showing you the exact same thing we're going to be doing, I just follow along after we get to the Air and Halo. And if you do mine here, your refinery will be Crew L1. Now that we blasted off from Arc L1 here, we want to go into our menu. And from Arc L1 to get into the Air and Halo, you want to aim at Crew L4 and set your route. We're not going to be going all the way to Crew L4. And we are going to drop out whenever that number gets to 16.1 million to 12.7 million. I'm going to drop in around the 14 million area. To drop out, you just hold B again. And now that we're here in the Halo, we're going to set our speed to about 300 or so. We're going to set this to 179 degrees. Again, that's holding Alt and scrolling in. If you didn't watch the Lyria part of the mining, you might jump in there to see the key bindings on how we're changing that. We're going to hit tab to ping, and we're going to pick a box, any box. So we're going to be going to this one. And before we would be using our scanner to scan rocks at a distance. Well, we're not going to do that. As I said, we're going to be going about 350 here. We're just going to leave this in mining mode, or at least pull it up. You want to set your heading to the left of the box. And as you're about to fly by it, you can see the rock coming up. We're just going to look at it. It's a type E. It's not Quantanium. So let's just keep going. No reason to stop, no reason to scan it. If we're looking for Quantanium, we're looking for Q-type. So we're going to head back to our area. We're going to find another box. We're going to look at that box. Look right to the left of it. Or the right of it. However you wish. Still in mining mode. Still full speed. And it is a P-type. Ooh, here we go. Here's a Quantini. So we hold X. Slam on the brakes. It's not going to be a good one. That's a pretty big optimum bar. Q-type. Mass 4,931. It gets up to about 5,100 or so. And if you watch the Lyria part, this is all going to be the same, but we are going to go over the mining gadget first. Let's pretend, for some reason, we can't crack this. We are in a rental. We don't have all the fancy modules, so we got to rely on our gadgets. So we get out of our ship. You pull your mining gadget out of your inventory, which, by the way, you hit I while you're inside. I don't have any in here. It's on my butt. It's on my butt. We're gonna open the ladder. No reason to hit exit ship. Don't gotta go through all that ladder animation. Just jump out. Zip on over here. And we are going to tap 4. And if you have a different utility like a hand mining laser or a med tool, it might go to that. Hit 4 again. It sits there and cycles through. And we are going to hold down left click. Preps it. And it gives you a little placement thingy. And then you get over here, see where you want it, and then you let go of left click. Now this is where it gets interesting. You see this little bar here? Gotta match up this thingy with this thingy. So we're gonna mess with this. As you see, it's moving. Sometimes it's harder than others. Slowly drifting forward. You need to get this to 90. And there we go. Doesn't matter if you're right at 90 or 100%. Once it's ready to activate, that's as good as it's going to get. So you activate it. And we go back to our prospector. Now you see our mining little gadget dealy is going to town there. It's doing stuff for us. Our resistance is so much lower now. And you can see it's activated with this right here. And you can stack them. If we had 2 bore maxes on there, it would say ×2. If we had an Optimax on there, there'd be another icon right to the right of it. So now that we have our mining gadget on there, we're confident we know we can crack this baby now. And now that our rock is busted open, we don't want to just get rid of that mining gadget, so we want to find it. There it is. And we are going to just grab or equip Bormax. Other than that, everything is the same as like we did on Lyria. You crack the rock, you extract the rock. All right, now that we see our lovely Cutlass Black, you're probably wondering, well, Idlebuff, where do I sell it? I know it's a mining guide. Well, is this a mining guide without me telling you where to deliver it to? You think I'm mediocre? Yes, I am. I'm going to show you where to also deliver it. All right. Where to deliver our Quantanium. And by the way, when you have the Quantanium in this state in your Cutlass Black, there's no longer a risk of exploding and whatnot. You're good. I mean, if you do blow up by hitting a planet, it's not my fault, and you will lose it. But we are going to sell it at ArcCorp, Area 18. You can also go to Crusader, Orison. You can go to Microtech, New Babbage, Hurston, and Lorville. Alright, now that you're at the lovely city planet that is Area 18, you're probably like, wow, that's a lot of buildings. Where do I land? Going to third person, it's a little easier to see. As you see that little area right there. That's where we're going. A little harder to see at night. That's the spot. Yeah, there we go. Gonna run this way. You'll see the arrivals landing bay. Smack that elevator and take it to the lobby or spaceport, whatever it's called. Once you're at the spaceport, you're gonna sprint off this direction. Massive exit sign. Pass your screens. And this way. Transit platform. Just keep going till you see a train. Now you should see these doors, or there might be a train here. Now you wait for the train. Get on the train. And now we get off the train. We're gonna run this way. ArcCorp Plaza. Plaza. Don't go right, we go left. ArtCorp Plaza. You're gonna see the big ball, you're taking a right. You should see TDD, Trade Development Division. We're gonna slam into this glass till it opens. We're gonna take a right or a left, doesn't matter. And we're gonna find one of these screens. We're gonna go up to the top, to the Sell tab. Select location, Cuddy Black, Quantanium. And we're gonna sell all 300K of our amazing, hard-worked Quantanium.
Imagination.
Boom. Now we're rich. And now if you made it this far, you're probably wondering, well, what now? Well, you get back in your prospector and you go mine and you make a lot more money. You know everything now. By the time you're seeing this, you've already seen the mining. You've seen the Aaron Halo. You've seen it all. You know how to mine. You know how to not blow yourself up. You know how to use your modules. Okay, bye.